Financial Sector Conduct Authority has listed a number of employers that have fallen behind with their contributions to retirement funds. Some of these employers include municipalities, and they've been behind for over 20 months. We're now joined by Khumbulani Moyo, Kungwini Amalgamated Workers Union National Coordinator. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Perhaps let's start with the industries that the union represents and your understanding of the situation.
Afternoon also to your viewers. The industry that we particularly coming on from, which was part of the companies that were listed by the FSCA, is the private security sector, where when we did our own analysis for the past 5 days, we picked up that there are over 2,000 of those companies which are listed. When we calculate the value in terms of those companies that they are owing and that they have not contributed in terms of the regulation, it comes to about 4.5 billion. And some of our members, they are affected there as the largest private security sector union.
How many of your workers have been impacted, and are they aware that employers are not contributing towards their retirement?
Some of these companies, some of these, our members, they are aware. We have raised that with the Provident Fund, which is the one that administers our private security sector Provident Fund, which is the PSSPF. And also as organized labor, since last year we've been raising and conscientizing even our members, and also the FSCA and the trustees within the PSSPF, and also the Bargaining Council, to say there are companies that are not complying. But the worst part of some of these companies is that they are deducting those monies and not forwarding them in time. You will see that in the report, some of these companies are owing next to 22 months, which in terms of the law, that every month on or before the 7th of every month, once you have deducted the monies of those workers, then you need to forward them to the Provident Fund, which is the PSSPF, which runs the private security sector. And we have raised, some of them we've even litigated on them and also raised it with the criminal justice, and some of them we've even picketed some of those companies over the past 8 months.
And still nothing happens. What is the consequence on employees?
There are a lot of consequences, especially when it comes to when employees pass on or when one of their relatives pass on. Which means, in essence, if I'm belonging to one of those companies, the employee cannot be paid his funeral benefit because the company will be non-compliant and they can't process. Then the other one is that an employee gets dismissed or he resigns or he gets retrenched. The employee cannot be able to do a withdrawal because the schedules and the amounts which are supposed to be contributed to the fund, they are not tallying, and the fund will have not received, which leads to some of the families failing even to bury their families, especially when it comes to the funeral portion of it, which is the risk part. Then also, which leads, for example, if an employee has lost employment or the contract has been terminated, is not able even to sustain and feed himself after that retrenchment or termination or dismissal. Then that leads to them, some of them, they're staying in big cities, they can't even travel back to their home areas. Some of them even, they can't even go and look for other employment because they will be not having any income during that particular time.
You are petitioning the Hawks to get involved. What has been the level of engagement with not just the Hawks, but with other law enforcement agencies?
Firstly, we did petition the FSCA in regard with some of those non-compliant companies, which they came back to us and responded that they were busy with the investigation. So I think we are vindicated as the unions to say whatever we've been raising is correct. And then the next stage, we have also approached the PSSPF Provident Fund in terms of some of those companies being taken to High Court. They have confirmed, we checked with the principal officer the past week, that 40 of those companies, they've been litigated to the High Court. Then we're waiting for those dates. And then the other, what we've done also, some of them, they are worse off because they did deduct monies, and not even one contribution has been forwarded to the administrator or the Provident Fund, which is PSSPF. Those, we have laid criminal cases to those employers, to raise the issues of fraud and taking workers' money without forwarding it to the relevant department, because there are no records in some of those companies, but they were they just registered, but they will behave like they are contributing, which they are not. So now we've got evidence from the FSCA that will assist us in terms of dealing with this matter moving forward.
Thank you very much, Khumbulani, Moyo, for your time this afternoon. Kungwini, Amalgamated Workers Union National Coordinator. More news for